aspect of life in general. Like I explained earlier how I learned so many skills through the Roadside Bookstore, through starting that startup. Really taught me these skills very efficiently, because as much as you can learn in a class, in theory, main reason for that was that I was a teenager. Help us. He's talking real business and he can really help us, achieve some.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. This is me hasinilakshminarayanan here. If you're new to the channel, this is the First Step YouTube channel wherein I get to interview many more other young achievers. First Step is in association with the CIT, Chennai Institute of Technologies, which is a number two engineering college in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. And now, without further delay, let's welcome our guest for the day, Kush Malpani. He is the founder and CEO at the Roadside Bookstores, founder of the Microcurve Consulting, also founder and CEO at the Global Investing Forums for Teens, GIFT. And also he's very much involved into social entrepreneurship, which I am very very excited about. And I always do get curious in whenever I am gonna have a chat with a teen entrepreneur. And so he's a very very big inspiration. I admire him totally, and so I am very very curious for the conversation, and I hope you are as well. So without further delay, let's welcome our guest. Hi.
Hey, hi there.
So you are the founder and CEO of the Road Bookstore, which is one of the largest door shipping startup retailing books in India, right? So which is tied up with India's largest book distributors and multiple roadside vendors. So being the first retailer in India providing same day delivery, which is amazing. So tell us about this, the association and the aim of the association and why you would want to start this association.
Right, right. So actually, since the age of 5 or 6, I've been persistently buying books from these roadside vendors. Like since it's really close to my school, which is situated in Fort, I used to pass it every day while going home from school or from school to home, right? So recently in November or December 2020, I was free from school, like exams got over and stuff like that. So I had a lot of free time. So I started reading a lot of books once again. And what happened is that I thought about these roadside vendors, because during the pandemic, there were so many lockdowns, there were multiple stages of lockdowns. And that's why these vendors couldn't get any buyers. Although they had lots of books available, there was no demand as such in the at Fort and other places where these roadside vendors are. So that's why I planned a system where these roadside vendors, they sell books at almost 50% less than the MRP, while other vendors, which are big companies, they sell at MRP, and people demand their products because they are able to deliver it straight to their home. Right now, delivery to home is one of the major assets that any company has. You look at Amazon, you look at Zomato. Recently they had their IPO and they made like billions of dollars on that basis. So I planned a system where we could have a computerized system where a person could place an order on our website, and then that order would directly go to the roadside vendor. They would package it and it would get shipped directly from there to the customer's home. So that was really efficient because number one, no, I didn't have to go there personally and buy each and every book and deliver it to the customer. And number two, this generated a lot of demand for the roadside vendors, because once you go online, there's really no limit to how much you can sell and to where you can sell. For example, once when they were selling physically, then their books were only sold to people who came to their stores in Mumbai. So a very small part of Mumbai. But now what we have done is we've increased their reach to 40 countries in 5 different continents, with almost 40,000 visitors coming to the website every month or so. So that was a really huge plus. And my main aim for this was, to generate some kind of demand and, earning for them during the pandemic, because they were really struggling to make ends meet. And for someone who's really helped me grow through books over so many years, I felt I should give something back to them. And that's why I really got into social entrepreneurship and helped them. So that's my main aim for starting the startup. Another thing I would like to mention is that this startup actually helped me in terms of a lot of skills. So number one, what I had to do is I had to go there every day. I had to convince these roadside book vendors to actually partner up with me. Since I was a kid, I was a teen, they didn't really believe me, or they didn't really have conviction in me. So I had to really show them that I can get your book sold and I can really help you earn during the pandemic. Secondly, a major, a really tough part of starting the startup was negotiating with multiple people. So number one, you have to negotiate with the roadside vendors. Then number two, negotiate with payment providers so that customers can pay you through various services. And number three, also negotiate with these shipping providers to tie up with and sell books. So negotiation was a really important skill, diplomacy, a really important skill that I learned through this startup. And that's why this was a really enriching experience for me personally. And that's why I mainly started this startup, gain some skills regarding real life business concepts, and also to help these roadside vendors earn during the pandemic.
It's a great initiative indeed. Like, so yeah, I'll move on
Yeah,
to my next question. So you were also the founder of Global Investing Forums for Teens, GIFT, in short. So tell us about this association and what role do you play being its founder and chief executive officer,
right.
which is.
So actually, I've been really fascinated by the stock market from a young age. So since my family is full of chartered accountants, and they're really all about stocks and finance and stuff. So I've been fascinated about stocks since the age of 10 or 11. And since then, I actually started investing using online fake simulators, which with which you can invest in the stock market and really get to know how you would do without actually investing money. And then gradually, I moved on to investing real money in the stock market with the help of my parents and my sister. So I thought that recently, with the bull run of 2020, where stocks really increased a lot, there's a lot of speculation in the market. No one is actually basing their trades, their buying and selling of stocks on any fundamental or technical indicators. They're just doing on speculation that this stock will go up, this stock is a really strong company, we'll invest in this. So that's what they do. And recently, a lot of teenagers and a lot of kids below 18 have been trying to get into the stock market and invest. In India, it's not legal for a person below 18 to invest in the stock market. But many teens who are really fond of the stock market have found ways around this, where they make an account on their parents' name and invest, and they're really passionate about this. And I believe that there should be some sort of education for them right now, since they really want to invest in the stock market, since they're so passionate about it. And that's why I mainly started GIFT, the Global Investing Forum for Teens. We send out a lot of newsletters. We put up articles for teenagers to easily understand how to invest in stocks. We also host competitions regarding stock simulations and other activities. And we also have guest speakers from reputed firms coming in to give, guest talks and educate people about the stock market. So the main aim of the startup is spreading financial literacy and teaching the principles of value investing to teenagers, which no one really teaches them. There are no resources as such for them to learn about this, because everyone thinks that that people usually invest in stocks after after becoming 20 or growing older. But it's really important that financial literacy is ingrained since a young age, because whatever field you go into, managing your finances like loans, the stock market, investment strategies, and everything, it's really important, even if you don't go into a finance related field. So that's why I felt this is a really important thing that people should know, and which is why I mainly started GIFT. Now, about playing the role of its founder and CEO, what I essentially do is I manage our entire team. I review and edit the newsletters. I review and edit the articles, and I also invite other guest speakers to join and give their insights on the stock market. As I also head recruiting so that more users can join us, and we can also expand our management team. And this is basically the role I play. I also keep in contact with other news sources and keep giving people updates regarding the stock market and other financial markets. Yeah.
Great, amazing. And apart from this, also you are the founder of Microcurve, which
Yeah.
is also rapidly, growing apart from both of these two associations. So there are a lot to explain. I knew about it as in you mentioned, but I would want the people to know about it as well. And I guess there is no better person to explain it than you. So yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the words, Hasini. It's really appreciative of you. So I just want to, yeah, so about Microcurve, right? So Microcurve is basically a startup that I envisioned along with two other teenagers from Delhi and from the US. We basically thought of starting this because number one, recently getting internships at firms has become very difficult for students. So that's why everyone, even if an industry has been around only for 2 years, employers want work experience of 5 years. So that's really not possible, right? So what we thought about is that recently during the pandemic, small businesses and MSMEs, which are micro or small and medium enterprises, they struggled a lot to sell their products because they've usually been only physical stores. They haven't been online or stuff like that. Whereas Amazon, Flipkart, and all these vendors, they were online, so they made huge profits during the pandemic. And now many small businesses have been trying to establish an online presence. So we thought, why not help them do this? And at the same time, teenagers and high school students can also get experience working for them, which actually counts as work experience and internships. So we envisioned this startup, and we started with a few clients. And in the past 2 months, we have onboarded almost 12 clients with combined, and we increased their revenues by almost $600,000. And their reach has also been expanded to more than 100,000 people per month. So what we do for them is we help them with web development, website development, or graphic designing or marketing, which they really require at these initial stages when they're trying to establish their online presence and earn during the pandemic. So what this does is that this doesn't only provide a short-term solution during the pandemic and during COVID, but also a really long-term solution because, as you said, the way forward is technology. It's all become a tech world. And employing this tech correctly, efficiently is really important for any business to flourish or any nonprofit to flourish. So we also simultaneously help nonprofits and small student-led organizations because they usually don't have support from any other organizations, right? These small businesses also can't afford the services of major firms, major marketing or design or consulting firms. So that's why what we do is on a completely pro bono basis. We don't charge any fees for our services. Instead, our fees is just the experience that our high schoolers and college students earn. So that's a really important facet of our startup. And till date, we have a team of 25 students. We also have interns at our startup coming in from IITs and other top engineering colleges in the country. And we really help them in terms of work experience, as well as helping these small businesses and firms survive during the pandemic and establish a strong, online presence for the next 10 to 20 years.
I mean, again, I have no words to explain. See, the fact that you're only 15 is unbelievable. You've been recognized, you've been awarded, several awards as being a teen entrepreneur, student, social entrepreneur, and yeah, many more terms as you can say. So, according to you, being a teen entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, do you think children should be taught entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship should also be prioritized along with other major extracurricular subjects like coding, programming, stuff like that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
So, no, definitely. I believe that entrepreneurship is a really important aspect of life in general. Like I explained earlier, how I learned so many skills through the Roadside Bookstore, through starting that startup. I not only helped so many people, but I also learned so many skills. So, definitely, I do believe that entrepreneurship should be taught to every single student in their initial curriculum. Like, for example, the ICSE or CBSE, it should be taught there. Because number one, what entrepreneurship teaches you is really to connect with the grassroots level. The social entrepreneurs usually help the ones who are, struggling due to any reason. For example, the pandemic recently, we basically help the ones who really need it, right? So teaching that and going to the grassroots level, actually getting, on-site work experience, that is a really important part of life. And getting that at such a young age, at the age of 14 or 15, would be a really major boost when you go ahead and, actually work in a big office and earn money. That it'd be a really major boost to learn entrepreneurship at a young age. Additionally, the skills of negotiation and diplomacy, connecting with other people, understanding their problems, as well as understanding your own perspective. That's a really important skill that, entrepreneurship teaches you. Number one, I explained how all the various the various fronts where I had to negotiate on the shipping providers, the payment providers, as well as the roadside vendors. So this really taught me these skills very efficiently, because as much as you can learn in a class, in theory, in textbooks, but the way that you really learn these skills for life is when you actually work with the on-site people who do this negotiation on a daily basis. The roadside vendors obviously negotiate with customers every day on a daily basis, almost 30 to 40 times. And that's what I really learned by working with them. So definitely entrepreneurship is very important. And with regards to the awards, recently I have been awarded the Young Entrepreneur Award by the Indian Achievers Forum, which is related to the government of India. But it's a really huge recognition for the work that I have been doing, and it really speaks to the fact that entrepreneurship, if taught at a young age, can take students really far in terms of life and succeeding in the workplace or in any other facet of life. So that's why I do believe that entrepreneurship and learning all the parts of finance that come along with it is very important in any field or any facet of life.
Again, I have nothing to explain. You put it all right. Yeah, as a teen entrepreneur, of course, as you also mentioned, few challenges that when you started, you might have faced many more challenges as in you come, as in, you deal with three more other associations along your way, and also, you have your boards as well, as you are in 11th grade and you were in 10th grade last year. But yeah, so how did you overcome your challenges? And also, initially when I started, I had some sort of insecurity if people would accept me
Yeah.
being a child entrepreneur. So did you have any such insecurities, and how did you manage to overcome them? So that would be my next question for
So
you.
yeah, I think that's definitely on point. There were certain insecurities relating to the fact that I was a teenager and I had to work with all these people who were, 25 or 30 or 35, way older than me. So what happened with the roadside vendors actually was that I started off to partner with them. I really started off by roaming around Mumbai and finding out which roadside vendors are really struggling due to the pandemic and which would really like to partner with me. And even when I went and talked to them, in Hindi, and really tried to lobby them to work with us, they were really reluctant. A main reason for that was that I was a teenager. So they didn't really have any conviction in me. They thought that, I'm just doing this for fun and I don't really care about the money or helping them. So that's why I had to innovate a really, a really efficient strategy to actually get them to partner up with me. What I promised them is that within a month, I would get 50 of your books sold. And usually what happens is that in a month, they can sell approximately 35 to 40 books. So that's a pretty, efficient target, which is 50. But what actually ended up happening is that since I marketed this so much over WhatsApp and through all my friends and my whole circle, we ended up selling almost 100 books in just 2 weeks. So that's the kind of conviction that was required to, convince these people that I can really help them. So that one story, that one promise that you make to them and you actually fulfill it, then these guys know, yeah, this guy will definitely help us. He's talking real business and he can really help us, achieve something that's out of Mumbai, that's throughout India, throughout the whole world. So that's a main problem I face. Another problem I really faced with Microcurve is that a lot of clients were reluctant to sign up with us. Number one, because the fact that we were, children, we were just high schoolers. They thought we were just doing this, to gain experience, and we don't really care about these businesses or stuff like that. So what we had to do to convince them is that for our first client, we brought on a student-led organization, a small organization that discusses, political stuff or has meets and debates about the same. What we did is that within just 1 week, we doubled their audience. We doubled the whole audience of the political organization. And this really showed the other clients that we are capable of big things. We designed other graphics, sample graphics. We designed sample websites for these organizations to show them that we can really do your work and we can gain experience at the same time. So that was a huge issue that I faced. You correctly pointed it out. People don't really trust a child entrepreneur that much. So you have to prove yourself using some method or some strategy. So I believe that's a really tough challenge that I faced. And yeah, in terms of challenges, there were a lot of other, logistical challenges or time management and stuff like that. But that can be really managed if you efficiently work around it and have proper goals set in mind for every week or every month and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, rightly said again. Yeah, now let's talk about this fact which you mentioned. Right, when I started, I had an insecurity. Like a person around, like, a distant relative of mine pointed out if I am fit for to do this. So that really made me feel if he or she who knows me itself isn't able to accept the fact that I am into YouTube and stuff, then how would people who doesn't even know me, a stranger, would accept me? So is there any situation according to you which you felt the same in, and how did you manage to overcome that situation? And adding to this, being again a school kid, also you would have your own extracurriculars like maybe sports or arts or music, whatever you are involved in, and also you'll have to manage your work side, which is entrepreneurship into gift, microcurve, you're selling up your books, and you have a lot doing currently. So yeah, how do you manage time and all?
Got it. Right. So about your first question, if there's ever been a situation where I or a relative has felt the same, there actually was. So with the regards to roadside vendors, they have thousands of books, but they don't have any method of inventorying all these books or any list of these books. So what I actually had to do to actually sell these books on the website, I had to click pictures of each and every book. I had to research it, and I had to copy paste the info in the website. That's what I had to do for almost 1,000 products. So that was an experience that time was a time where I felt that this is really not possible. Additionally, there was the problem of shipping. So these roadside vendors normally give their products in a handbag or a small cloth bag or something like that. But when you want to ship to other places of India or even around the world, then this is not possible. You have to have a shipping label. You have to have proper packaging material. Otherwise, these books will get damaged and stuff like that. So there was really no way that I could set up a printer there or give them a lot of packaging material and stuff like that. So that was a really low point where I felt this is not going to work. And even my parents told me that this is taking a lot of toll on your mental health and taking a lot of time. So do you really want to go ahead with this? But then I really decided that these vendors, they literally have no one else to help them. If during the pandemic they have no demand, no income, then they eventually have to shut down. And neither I nor any really avid book reader in India or in Mumbai would really want that, because these spot vendors are iconic. They've been there, since independence in 1947, and many tourists come here every day just to buy books from them to see how they function. They have a really good memory. They remember all the names of all the books without having any lists or anything like that. You tell them any name, the name of any book, they just they go behind, they search among hundreds of books, and they find it in approximately 30 seconds. So that's something I was really fascinated by. And let this thing shut down and completely shut down and not be there ever again, I thought that that would be a really, really big loss to the reading community in Mumbai. And that's why I found efficient solutions for the problems that I faced. Number one, with regards to the books, I clicked pictures of each and every book and uploaded it manually on the website. That's what I had to do. That was really grunt work. There was no other alternative to that. But regards to the packaging and the labels, what I decided is that near Fort also, there are numerous printing and Xerox shops. So it'll be really easy if whenever a label comes and an order comes, the roadside vendor can just go to the shop and get the label, which would already be sent to the shop to be printed, and they can attach it on the shipping or packaging material that we provided to them from before. So this was an innovative solution that I had to think of, on spot, because this was taking a lot of time, and slowly the vendors were beginning to lose faith in me. So I had to really speed this up and organize this well. Now, regards to time management, it's certainly a very important facet of being a student entrepreneur. So I currently actually manage 3 different startups as well as school club and also grades at the same time. So it's a really tough thing to manage all of these things together. So for that, what I planned is that I have a fixed number of hours every week that I work on a startup. For example, the Roadside Bookstore. Maybe I work 10 hours a week on it. For example, like 1.5 hours each day, because to manage orders and connect with the vendors, talk to them if any problems are happening. And what I do is that if there's any special event coming up in a certain week, for example, if the Roadside Bookstore, we want to have a flash sale where, we sell everything at zero profit and we just help the roadside vendors in the process. So then at these times, if there's a really important event coming up for a particular startup, then I devote my more time to that startup in that particular week. And I go with the flow, honestly. Every week, whatever comes up, I go with that. Because there'll be numerous tests in school, there'll be other competitions coming up, and there'll be stuff like that. So you can't have a rigid timetable every week or every month. But what you can do is you can allocate a fixed number of hours every week that you can spend on a particular startup. And then if there's any special event coming up, you can alter it accordingly. So that's basically the time management strategy I practiced, and it's worked out really well for me over the past 6 months to 1 year. So I'd really recommend that.
Great, amazing again. One
That's it.
last question which I have is,
Yeah.
what is the one thing you'd want to change in this society? And yeah, please do share your future plans, what you would want to become, and what is your aim. And yeah, that would be it.
Right. So, actually, as society, as whole world, we've come forward and advanced a lot in terms of technology and other facets of life since early times. So, as we've advanced, I believe that there's also been a lot of complication in life. Like there's multiple things to do every week. You have to sort out something with someone. You have to do another assignment. You have to submit it. You have to work on something else. So life has become really complicated. My aim in life is I want to ideate some sort of solution, some sort of startup which can really help people, uncomplicate life. Because this complication in life has really led to, mental health issues, led to other, depression and other stuff and stuff like that. So that's one main aim of mine that I really want to accomplish in life. And at the same time, helping a lot of people through it. Like if you've seen my startups, all of them are based on the theme of social entrepreneurship, right? And that's a main aim of my life. I really want to dedicate a lot of time to this particular field, social entrepreneurship, and help many other people in the process. So my future plans are definitely similar to that. I want to go to college, of course, and learn something related to social entrepreneurship, finance, so I can help a lot more people and ideate a new startup which can produce an even larger impact than the one I'm currently doing now. And I can devote my full time to it and expand that into a revolutionary idea or startup which can help millions of people all around the world. So that's one of my main goals in life, and that's my future plan.
Amazing, amazing. And I hope this also, you achieve success in this, as you already promoted many more other children in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for accepting your invitation. I will
Uh,
definitely have to
I
try
would like to
this.
thank you a lot for bringing me onto this platform where I can give all my knowledge to others, other entrepreneurs, and as well as project my startups on a big stage like yours. So I would really like to thank you for that.